Hi everyone, it's good to be with you again, and it's also lovely, isn't it, to be enjoying some sunny weather. I hope you are enjoying this season. On Sunday, I preached the first of what will be, we hope, a series of 7 sermons looking at Paul's first letter to the church in Thessalonica. You can find other information about the church from Acts 17. And on Sunday, I introduced us to that church, which was born in the context of revival, of God really powerfully working in amongst the people in Thessalonica. Paul preached in the synagogue, him and Silas, but it was amongst the God-fearing, the Gentiles, that was a real work of God. And it stirred up opposition such that after a short period of time, we don't know how long, probably a few months, Paul and Silas felt they needed to leave. And obviously they were deeply concerned about what was happening to this fledgling church. Were they still coping? How were they handling the persecution? What did they feel about Paul and Silas leaving so quickly? Paul himself, we're told, tried to go and find out, goes to return, but says Satan stopped him, whatever that meant. In the end, they sent Timothy, and Timothy has just returned saying, don't worry, guys, the church is in good fettle. They were worried about you. There are some concerns about some things which we can address, but they're in good shape. And so Paul, out of his excitement that things are well, pens 1 Thessalonians, which is the earliest of the letters that we have in the New Testament. And half of the letter, 3 out of the 5 chapters, is just thanksgiving for what was going on in Thessalonica, and Paul talking about his prayers for them. And one of the things I brought out of this is the power of prayer, that Paul felt he wasn't able to do anything to support, but he prayed for this church and the power that we have in praying for the persecuted church. But we also see from what Paul says the foundations that were laid in that short period of time which enabled and were instrumental in the church coping with persecution. Firstly, as we find it in other letters, the key foundations that Paul laid was of faith, love and hope. But not just faith, love and hope for themselves, but as he says, we always thank God for all of you and continually mention you in our prayers. We remember before our God and Father your work produced by faith, your labour prompted by love, and your endurance inspired by hope in our Lord Jesus Christ. And what I brought and what I feel, because those themes of faith, love and hope are the key themes in the letter. They're introduced right at the beginning, and at the end they're mentioned again. And they run through like words in a stick of rock throughout the letter. But that it's not just faith, love and hope, but it's what they produce. That they produce work, labour and endurance. And that foundation, that it wasn't just theoretical, but Paul had laid whilst he was there, that foundation of active faith, love and hope, which was key to them coping with the suffering, the trials, the difficulties, the troubles that they had. And the second thing that I brought out, and I feel from the letter, the other key foundation that enabled them to survive the difficulties was of family. And that Paul laid a foundations of family. So in those 5 chapters, the church are called brothers and sisters 15 times. 15 times in 5 chapters. And Paul also talks about how when he was amongst them, he was like a mother caring for her little children. That he and Silas loved them so much that he gave everything to share with them. And he talks about dealing with them like a father deals with his own children, encouraging, comforting and urging. So Paul was at great pains to describe and help the church catch that sense of family, and not of a family with Paul sort of head and shoulders above the others, but him caring for, nurturing, but Christ as being the head of the family. And I think it's crucial because we all have our own experiences of family, and the people in Thessalonica will have their experience of family. So Paul doesn't talk just about brothers and sisters, mother and father, but he describes what those roles are, so that it's not just saying like a mother, but it's a mother caring for her children, not just like a father, but one who's encouraging, comforting and urging. And so we need to lay a foundation of family, but we need to be careful about not imposing our own experience of family or our cultural view of family onto others, but come with a sort of attitude of all being equal, caring for each other, loving for others into it in the way that Paul describes, rather than us expecting everyone else in the church to treat us in the way that our family treats us, if that makes sense. So that's me rambling on, giving you a précis of what I brought on Sunday. I hope it inspires you to read the letter yourself. It's just 5 chapters, but also the material in Acts 17. And we'll unpack it more as the weeks go on. And I hope and pray that this letter will come alive to you, and the teaching that Paul brings to this vibrant young church born out of revival will impact us as a church. Bless you all. See you again soon. Bye.